Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into this holiday season on the first Saturday of the month, December the 7th, a day that lives in infamy, according to those of us old enough to remember. I wasn't born when it happened, but I mean, okay, I'm not going to get into the age factor here because, but Pearl Harbor Day. And I know my buddy sitting across from me.
I was 1 year old.
You were 1 year old, Gene Smith, and he is here. And, of course, Bill Cooksey is filling in as he can.
I saw it on the movies.
You saw it on the movies, American Color. That's on the Smithsonian Channel. But, hey, I was really excited when Bill was able to reach out to this young man. I'm going to call him young because you could reverse his numbers, and he's still not as old as I am. So, but anyway, I have, in my many years in the outdoor business, coming up 50 years just about, that have been spent many Thanksgiving weekends on Main Street in Stuttgart and covered the World Championship and know what goes into it and what it takes to win. And as I always tell our good friend Buck Gardner, went 10 times before he ever won, and then came back and won the Champion of Champions. Well, we've got the champion from this year, Michael. I'm just so glad to have Michael Steinmeyer on with us. And, Bill, thank you for setting it up for Michael here. Or Steiny, is that what you call him?
Absolutely. Those of us who call, I don't know what he goes by in his professional life, but if you're in the calling world, it's Steiny.
Well, in the insurance producer, he goes by Michael, okay?
Probably so.
Anyway, good morning, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you all. How are you all?
We're doing great. Let's talk about it, man. I've watched it. And of course, they don't tell they don't give you your name. You just come from behind the
Caller number 3, would you like a warm-up?
That's right. You got that warm-up. And you have been to Stuttgart many times. So what made the difference this year to get that win?
Oh, I guess the perseverance.
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
It's that you let your foot off the gas, you're never going to get to where you're going. So I just, for the last 14 years of, making it to that world stage, I've, every year just push a little harder on the gas, and, it finally, I finally got that checkered flag at the end of that race.
You considered quitting, is what I read in Brian Hendricks' story. There was some dark times there.
You could say that. When you stand on that stage for 3 rounds and you blow 3 clean and you get up there and they announce the 10th runner up and they holler out your name, it's like, gosh dang, It's like what do I have to do to make that to make that next step?
Well, Bill,
and
you've been on the stage and you've been a judge.
I mean, the first time you make the 3rd round, you're excited about it.
Yeah, but the 5th and 6th time,
but after a while, it starts to hurt.
It does
when your name gets called. I mean, and there are usually about 10 guys in it to win it. I know one year that I judged, I had Steiny way up there.
Yeah.
But there's a little luck involved. There's having judges that just work with you. I mean, they hear you, and it works with their ears. Even your draws in each round, and you get it all right. It takes time to get it all right. Because Steiny, when I saw the list of names he beat, there's some
strong ones on there.
Callers.
And I know, Michael, when you look at this, and I read where a couple of your people that really have helped you along the line, and I can't Butch Richardback has helped a lot of folks. Butch was a one of a kind. Once you met him, you weren't sure what you got, but you knew that he believed in you. And I think you said that Butch, who's the founder of Rich and Tone, as all of us know, and your late friend Ryan Hudson. Talk about your relationship with those two guys.
So I guess it would have probably been, the first year I qualified for the World Championship. I won the Bowdasheen Regional. It was held in Sturgis, Kentucky then.
Okay.
Qualified that year, and a couple of years later, I got tied up with Butch, and I want to say it was Moline, Illinois.
Okay.
At Mike Eddy's contest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yep. And Todd Copley and Pat Murillo pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, Butch wants to talk to you."
Oh.
So they grabbed me and they dragged me down to his room. And Bill, I know you've heard Butch talk 100 times, and you can hear it saying, he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And we sat down and we talked for a good bit, and he opened up his I can't remember he had that little camo briefcase or camo case that had calls in it. He opened it up, and he probably had about 10 or 12 MVPs in there, and he took one out and he said, "Here, blow this," and I blew it. Nope, give me that one back.
Okay.
So I blew another one. Nope, give me that one back, and I blew another one, and he's like, that's the one you need, and that's all there was to it. And before we parted ways that weekend, he gave me his number and said, "If there's anything you ever need," he said, "you pick up the phone and you call me."
Wow.
And and from that point forward, I looked up to Butch.
Yeah.
Butch was the one that, if I needed something, I called Butch. If I had a question on something, I called Butch. Anytime I spent in Stuttgart, during hunting season or, after hunting season, I'd go down there in the summer for a weekend. And it always seemed like Sunday at, 6 o'clock when I'm ready to leave, Butch is ready to go to the Mexican restaurant and eat dinner.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Butch was a night owl.
He was a night owl, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was 100%. And then
think
we
he
go
ever
back
slept.
to
Yeah.
No, he never slept. We'd go back to the house and we'd sit there and watch TV. We'd watch baseball until midnight, and I'd have to finally tell him, "Butch, I got to go. I got to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got a 4-hour drive home."
And not only that, but you mentioned your late friend Ryan Hudson was one of those guys that said, "Your time is coming." I guess everybody needs an encourager. I imagine he must have been one of your encouragers.
Ryan was a one of a kind. I can't say enough good about Ryan. He was taken from us entirely too soon, but he had a guide service over here out of Poplar Bluff called Bustin' Beaks Guide Service.
Okay.
And I met him and his brother Adam back in, I think, 2006 in Kansas City, and we realized that, hey, we're only about an hour and a half away, and from that point forward, we became really, really good friends. All of us did, and to the point now to where we're more like we're family. There's no friendship anymore. It's all strictly family. And every year, Ryan would tell me, he said, "It's your time. You're gonna win. You're gonna win." And I talk to his brother just about every day, who's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And,
he would be proud of you. I
know. Absolutely.
Yes.
Adam told me the other day, I told him, I was like, whenever I stepped on stage Saturday night, I was like this. I told myself, I was like, this one's for Ryan. I was like, there ain't nobody that's going to want it any more than him.
Well, it's obvious what you did, and I know, Bill, winning this thing after so many times. What does what you've told us about the times you didn't win? So what goes through your mind when they call out your name?
Well, it's not his name. It's when they call out first runner-up.
First runner-up. Okay. When they call out first runner-up, you're down to that. I mean, you got to, you're not 10th runner-up at least. You know, they're working their way down.
Right.
So what's going through your mind when that you're coming up?
Nothing.
Nothing.
In all honesty,
You were numb.
I was basically 100% numb. It was you're sitting there. You're focused on Matt Mosler on what he's going to whose name he's going to say, and you're hoping and praying that from the last 7 people that he's 7-8 people that he's called out, 9 people that he hasn't called my name yet.
Yes.
Let's not call it now.
Yeah. Yes. And so that, but the adrenaline, Bill.
Oh, the adrenaline's crazy. Before we get to adrenaline, I want to ask him something, and this will give him an opportunity too for one of the people he does some stuff with, a company he works with. Steiny, I know for years you blew Rich and Tones, and obviously all of us know Rich and Tones have won a ton of world championships, and they're going to go on winning world championships, and that is definitely a call to look to. That's what I blow, and if I went back to contest calling, that's probably what I'd pick up. But you made a change a few years ago and went to Refuge, and
Yeah,
making a change can sometimes, make a difference in your mindset.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Talk about that.
So I guess it was, Butch passed away in 2015, and
Yeah.
I've known Adam Lyerly for several years prior to. He blew in contests here and there, and he was always around, especially with building the Bow to View duck blinds there there between Waldenburg and Wayner, and he and I got to talking, and it was one of those days. He said, if you ever have any interest, he said I wouldn't put wind to one of my calls and see what you think. And in 2015, oh goodness, I was gone to work for most of the year offshore, and I had no plans on making it to the Worlds. My schedule was already I was going to be gone for that.
Yeah.
Yep, I was gone for it. And then at the last minute, 2 weeks prior to the contest, our schedule changed, and I was going to be home for the last chance. So I had one chance at it, and Adam asked me. He said, he said, I got a call for you to blow and work with for the next 2 weeks if you want to. And I told him, I was like, well, when I told him, I was like, well, and I was like, with all due respect, I appreciate the offer. I was like, but this one's for Butch.
Yeah.
This one's Butch's, because in 2000, I guess it was January of 2010. It was he made Butch hand-cut me an MVP, and I figured, okay, I'm one more time for Butch, and I went up there and come back from behind in the second round and ended up winning the contest, and then turn around Saturday night and blew extremely well and ended up with another top 10, and then I put it down, and from that point, I picked up Adam's call and helped him with it, helped him, make improvements, do a little more development with it, just try to get it to where it's going to be, a top competitor, in the field.
Right.
And in the last 4 or 5 years now, we've really been able to get it to where it will compete.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, we're about 40 seconds from a hard break, but talk real quick for the kids that are even thinking about it, about the excitement, the adrenaline, that sort of thing of the contest, especially
advice.
Your early ones. It's awesome, but hard.
Yeah, it's if you're going to do it, do it. You got to apply yourself. If you got to be all in. You can't push half a stack of chips into the hand. You got to push all your chips into the hand in order to be able to make it. And don't get discouraged if you lose. Losing only makes you better.
That's right. Well, Michael, we actually got Cooksey to call you Michael there for finally. It took almost 12 minutes.
I've never done that.
He's never done that before. But again, congratulations, buddy. Way to go. I know that you've got some fans here in the Memphis area, and it's a big honor. So we hope you have a great Christmas and everything, and look forward to the champion of champions.
Get down here and duck hunt with me.
Yeah, he needs some help. Okay?
I do.
He needs some help.
Bad.
We'll see what we can't get arranged. I'm sure we can talk a few of them into giving up for a day.
There you go.
Thank you, Michael. Have a great one. Okay, buddy. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're going to head down to Arkabutla for the 29th annual Physically Challenged Deer Hunt. Outdoors with Larry Ray.